Hi, welcome to Astrology for GAN Traders. My name is Olga Morales. Now will be my final video presentation for this 2012, and I've decided to just do a little quick presentation on time cycles. GAN had a lot of information on time cycles and his time counts, so let's have a quick look. Now, in WD GAN's forecasting methods involved looking back at the past with time cycles of various lengths. So he had his annual seasonal trends for 1 year, and there are 2 years, 7 years, 10, 20 years, 30, 45, 60, 84, 90 and 100-year cycles. So there's a lot of cycles you can be analysing, and sometimes it's bringing them together that gives you the best results. But behind these cycles are planetary periods of various lengths and also harmonics of their cycles, and the synodic cycles are between two planets through the 360 degrees of the zodiac. So we're looking at wheels within wheels. So there's a lot you can do by either using harmonics of one particular planet or combining that with the synodic of two other planets. This is one of GAN's time cycles that I've used on looking back and using a price slicing tool and overlapping those years or that year to current conditions. So, you know, GAN was doing it. I've got his charts where he was actually creating these his own composites of this particular type of analysis. I can imagine how long it took him to do. But you know, we can do it quickly with software. So this is what we're looking at, time cycles that repeat. Okay, so I'm going to examine one particular time cycle that GAN actually connected to a planet in an earlier version of his commodity course. This is a quote. The next important major cycle is 30 years, which is caused by the planet Saturn. This planet makes one revolution around the Sun every 30 years. Saturn rules the products of the Earth and causes extreme high or low prices in products of the Earth at the end of the 30-year cycle, and this makes stocks high or low. Now GAN rounds it off to 30 years, but the cycle is approximately 29.5 years. Okay, so let's have a look at what do we do? How do we analyse the cycle of Saturn in terms of past trends? Now, for this sort of analysis with longer term cycles, we need, obviously, the more data you have, the better it's going to make in establishing the probability of past trends. And so I do have some data from going back to 1885 on the Dow Jones, and to demonstrate how an astro-analyst would undertake planetary analysis. Now that's giving me 127 years of data, which divided by 30, I'm going to get 4 complete cycles of Saturn. Now Saturn spends approximately 2.5 years in each zodiac sign, and it completes a revolution around the Sun and 12 zodiac signs in 29.5 years. Yes, as I mentioned, GAN rounded up to 30 years. So in my next graph, what I've done is I've overlapped 4 Saturn cycles for the Dow Jones, and you can see the swing highs and lows are aligned with the zodiac signs. If we have a look here, basically this is what it is. It's 4 cycles overlap, so it's a composite of those 4 cycles, and this is created by timing solution software, and it also gives me an overall trend and tries to come up with common points in the cycle. If we look at where I've put this arrow is for when there was a low in March 2009, the current low, and at the time Saturn was exactly at 18 degrees of Virgo. Okay, so what I did, I went back and I had a look at other times it was at that point. It was at that point in August 1891, June 1921, August 1950 and September 1979, and more recently it's the March low. Now they were all lows, and this is a critical degree, 18 degrees of Virgo. Now if you have a look maybe at some natal charts, you'll find that actually in the New York Stock Exchange chart for the 17th of May 1792, Mars, the natal Mars, is actually at 18 degrees of Virgo. So this is showing you that by transit we're going to have Saturn coming to that natal Mars, and you know they're known in astrology as the malefic, so they're the hardest planets coming together. So that's interesting. And Saturn connecting to Mars. Mars is a planet of energy and assertion. So bringing Mars to that would stop that energy, have an impact on that energy. So if we convert 30 years to months, we're looking at 360 months. 15 years would equate to 180 months. 7.5 years would be 90 months, and 3.75 years would be 45 months. So this is how working with GAN numbers works out, because if you're looking at this, the number of 360 is like 1 year, but it's also like 30 years. Okay, so 45 months is therefore the 8th harmonic of the Saturn cycle. GAN tells you to watch 42 to 45 months, where you'll find many culminations. Now, what I can show you here, if you look from the March low of 2009 to the current high in October, that's exactly 42 months. The 45 will be in January 2013, so we've got another bar to go up in here. Okay, so another way of looking at this, I always tend to extend what I do, my analysis, to bring in the planets. So when analysing cycles, you often have to think inside the box, that is the GAN box. Now, GAN explains in his range of fluctuations that you take a range and divide it by 8ths and 1/3, both for time and price. I've gone a little bit into a little bit more deeper and applied the GAN box to a Saturn cycle. Each vertical line represents an 8th harmonic of the cycle, and every blue line represents a 3rd harmonic. The harmonic time cycles are very clear. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If you've never seen a GAN box, this is it. Basically, I've applied this GAN box to a Saturn cycle, and each one of these lines here is actually 45 degrees of the cycle, and this blue line is 120, so that is your trine. This third green line would be 135, so that's a sesquiquadrate. Isn't it amazing that in between these two periods you're looking at about 15 degrees, and you've got this swing high, swing low in that period. So you can see how every 45 there's some sort of reaction that's in there on the 120, and also in here. So basically we're halfway through this cycle at the moment, a little bit over now. So having this into the future, you'll see that price will find support and resistance on one of these 8th harmonics, like GAN tells you, and also we're getting time periods that are going to be important in the future. This is what makes GAN analysis so amazing, but incorporating planetary cycles obviously is knowing what's behind these cycles makes it even more exciting. Now, this GAN box, if you look at it, if I could see this center point here, which is basically the center of everything, 50% of time and price, that is like, if you imagine me pulling that up, that would be the tip of a pyramid. So these squares that go around, if you think of GAN's square of 9 that goes around the pyramid, this is essentially the same. So I could lift that up. So what we're looking at is a 2D version of actually a pyramid, where we're squashing it down and making it flat. So there's a lot of sacred geometry in this this GAN box that is really quite amazing when you start working with it. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that presentation, and just to remind you of my upcoming seminars for 2013. First one will be in March 23rd, 24th in Melbourne, and in May 18th to 19th in New York City with Bill Meridian. And if you go to my website, you'll find that the early bird specials for both of those seminars are coming up soon if you want to get in early and save some money. Hopefully I get to meet some of you at that time. Thank you for listening.